Welcome to Alchemize Yourself Tarot. The spread I'm doing now is about figuring out, are you aligned with your real path or just chasing an illusion? So finding your life's work and your life's purpose, this is what we all want, but many times we end up chasing illusions or just blowing in the winds of uncertainty, allowing them to take us wherever. So I'm going to pull a spread here to break down where you may be at and getting into alignment with your purpose, with your path. Right now, I believe many of you may be in like a visionary phase, like a vision board, researching, gathering information, visualizing, studying, because we have the Page of Swords and the Star. The Star is where you want to be. That's your star power. That's your purpose. That's your soul purpose. And there's a little bit of surrender that comes with being in the star energy, like embodying that. But right now you may be feeling that the star is way out of reach, right? You're just in that vision board phase where you're journaling, setting intentions, getting your head clear, getting your thoughts clear. But there is this need to get more intentional as far as more direct, maybe needing to whittle it down into a manageable size. So right now you're wondering, thinking, imagining. And see, this is important. You to begin to embody your dreams, you do have to visualize what that looks like. So this is actually a very important planning phase. And this is an editing phase. The Page of Swords doesn't have, this is like the brainstorming phase where you're still jotting it all down. Notebooking, everything may be really unorganized, but there's a lot of ideas. I like this Page of Swords when it comes to trying on different ideas, but there's definitely something here that you're yearning for with the Star. Many of you have already broken down certain things or removed certain things out of your life. That would be the editing, destruction phase, right? Because the Star comes after the Tower. That's, the Tower is breaking down structures that aren't working for you. Things that are based on, things that were never built with a steady foundation. So the Star represents that healing that takes place. But I think you're ready for some real growth. And Page of Swords energy is also very exciting. It's youthful. I did have, it's still there. The Page of Wands was on the bottom of the deck. But see, the Page of Wands is good because it's courage. It's the leap of faith. It's the confidence to take action towards something. So many of you need to take that leap of faith. You need to have faith that something can work. Or you need to be willing to fail. Like, sometimes when you're in a creative phase, you're really just trying to try different things, see what works. Sometimes you're making mistakes during this phase. But we'll set these up here. What do you think you're meant to do? Let's just let the tarot guide us a little bit. What do you think you're meant to be doing? Let's just get some insight here. Ooh, Ten of Pentacles with the Five of Swords. What you think you're meant to do is you're ready to stand up for yourself. And many of you may be having conflict within a family dynamic, family pressure. It's like you're having to resist doing what's expected of you, because the Ten of Pentacles is long-term security and stability. And that's like the end goal, right? That's the culmination of your efforts. But there's resistance here. Somebody standing in the way of that. It could be just your upbringing. Some of you have a lot of pressure to have traditional work that, has established itself as financially secure. But what's really important right now to remember is that traditional ways of building wealth have changed. A lot of the stuff that worked for your parents and your grandparents, a lot of those careers and paths don't work anymore. So you need to resist thinking that you have to go about a really traditional way of creating or doing or making money. Sometimes the financial side of it can put a lot of pressure on you. And it's not that that is not important. You need financial security and stability in your life. That's just a reality. But sometimes this becomes a blockage. So you need to figure out where you've been getting resistance from people. Some of you are needing to set boundaries. You're needing to stand up for yourself, or you're needing to get out of a environment that brings a lot of stress and conflict, because stress and conflict and ego will definitely block you being able to just be in this flow state, because many of you are wanting to just have some time and mental space and physical space to do your work, to be on your path, but you have something here, maybe in a family or home environment or a relationship, and it's just not helping you get to this goal of the Ten of Pentacles. It's actually creating more of a blockage than it is helping you. But, what is your natural inclination? You definitely don't want to be putting your energy over here, arguing, fighting, people telling you that you're worthless or that your ideas are worthless. So that's going to be very challenging for you. But your natural inclination is Seven of Cups. Yeah, you're a visionary. But this is charlatan, and it's like Four of Wands, Five of Pentacles. Some of you feel like you were tricked into a situation where you're in survival mode, because the Five of Pentacles is when you're struggling. The storm-swept family. Like there were promises of this, but really it was all a fantasy. It was an illusion. And that's what this whole reading's about, is about breaking down that false reality, like really confronting the illusion. Like it was supposed to be this, but it's not. And now you're trying to figure out a different way of doing things. And it's like I said, sometimes what worked way back in the day is just not working anymore. You have to be a lot more creative. You have to stand out these days. It's difficult. And, the Four of Wands, this is all about peace, harmony. But with the Five of Pentacles, there's definitely a struggle going on here in your home environments. Maybe that survival mode. Feeling lonely and lost, even within a Ten of Pentacles in a family dynamic. Sometimes you can feel like the odd one out, like you're left out of things, or that you don't fit in to a family dynamic or relationship anymore. Yeah, some of you were definitely sold like an idea of how it should be. The feminine energy stands out here. Like, yeah, what worked for your mother, it's like they passed down like a traditional way of thinking, but it's struggle for you to fit into that mold. So your inclination is to maybe find the illusion or be honest with yourself about what path you need to be on. That is probably one of the biggest struggles you will ever have as an individual, is staying on your own path, being true to yourself, being true to your path, being willing to be different. You know, to challenge yourself to change even when you're being pressured to follow through with a sort of programming. Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, these are traditional roles, and there's nothing wrong with these roles or values, but they don't necessarily work for everybody. What is an early life cue here that you may have ignored? I'm definitely getting family influence. So maybe this influence is very significant. You learned it at an early age, or maybe there was something at an early age that you really should have had nurtured, but it wasn't. You know, even really healthy family dynamics don't always nurture your natural talents, right? A lot of times you're meant to fit into their value system. So even in non-toxic family dynamics, we can have our natural inclinations suppressed. And everybody's on a spectrum of that, from, you know, little, minimal to high levels of interference with your goals or who you're inclined to be. But this could be something that you suppressed in early life or even in early adulthood. Sometimes you get pressured into a career in your 20s that, you know, you find out later it's just not a real good fit. But your early life cue was Page of Pentacles. Yeah, you enjoyed indulging in some way. There was definitely, I'm also getting, you know, an energy of maybe the family dynamic provided too much safety and security. You never were offered that opportunity to outgrow it, because the page is somebody that's well taken care of, nurtured. I mean, it could be the opposite with the Five of Swords and Five of Pentacles. Maybe your family didn't provide enough resources for you, but it was something about being able to explore your resources, your environment from a place of safety. But with Five of Swords, Five of Pentacles, yeah, there could have been doubts about your security and safety. It could be that your basic needs were met, but your academic growth or your creative growth was suppressed in some way. You know, sometimes families, they're very good at providing the material, but they're not necessarily there to cultivate the other aspects of your personality. And it's not about being a victim or playing the blame game. It just is what it is. You know, parents bring in what they are capable of emotionally, financially, spiritually. But there was something about resources and lifestyle here. I'm going to get one more on that. What was the early life cue that you ignored? Sometimes you can be indulged or spoiled and it doesn't help you to grow, or your growth was suppressed in some way. Nine of Pentacles, yeah, building independence. This is all about being independent, creative, definitely financially abundant and independent. Either your family over-invested or didn't invest enough in cultivating your independence. They made you codependent in some way. And that's a pattern to break down. And that happens a lot. to a certain extent, you know, you were meant to build your own thing, and I think there was pressure from outside to follow another path, the path of your ancestors, the path of your parents, or the path that your spouse, or, you know, that sort of thing. There was a family pressure to follow one path when you actually expressed that you wanted to move out, you wanted to do your own thing. You've always been a very independent spirit. And you can't deny that about yourself. Maybe you want to be single. Maybe there's a lot of pressure on you to get married and have children. A lot more people are choosing to remain single and independent. And it's like wanting to build up the resources or investment to be able to do that. Education, time, effort. But if it's not supported, then it just kind of becomes an illusion or a fantasy. It never becomes a reality. Someone may have wanted to keep you home, whether I'm getting like possibly an overbearing mother or feminine. Somebody maybe was overprotective, but it stunted you in some way. And this, keep in mind, this isn't going to resonate with everybody. This is just a collective reading. This is just tapping into the energy of what people are feeling called to do. And knowing what you may have to overcome in order to get there. So where have you been pulled off your... Oh, these cards are really sticky. Where have you been pulled off of your path? The Death card, the Six of Cups, and the Nine of Wands. Yeah, something ended from your past. You're going through a major death rebirth cycle. Something ended. It could have actually been the death of a parent or a family member. And you're still really defensive or wounded about that. There could have been needing, you know, responsibilities that came up where you've been pulled off your path by your past, by your childhood, the farmer and his wife, your family, your parents in some way. And now with an ending showing up, you're being called to transform that. Become a new person. You don't have that, you know, because even something that could be annoying and a lot of pressure can be your comfort zone. Some of you are being forced out of your comfort zone. Nine of Wands. Strength, perseverance, doing it yourself. Can't always rely on comfort and safety. So what fear, what is the actual fear blocking this alignment? What is the fear? These are sticky cards. What is the fear? Ten of Cups. Your long-term happiness is on the line. And then World. You fear completing something. I'm getting this too. Some of you don't want to repeat familial patterns. You don't want to do it the same. Some of you are rebels, right? The star can kind of represent somebody. It's Aquarian energy. So it's like some of you want to do everything differently, and it's like you're completing out this cycle. But Ten of Cups is like the Ten of Pentacles. It's like you've been blocked from alignment, or the fear is, would you be happy following in the footsteps of other people? That's an important question to ask yourself. Just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. There's something different about you. You're breaking patterns, breaking karmas, completing out cycles. And the way to get back onto your path, the way to get into alignment with your path, collective, the way to get back onto your path. Man, these are sticky. Six of Pentacles and Justice. Something has to be balanced. Ooh, and I like this message. So what I'm getting here is there's got to be a balance between staying committed and honoring your family or your whatever's been established here, but also balancing it with what you want to do. So the aligned path, it's not saying just screw you and just run off into the sunset. This is about creating communication and balance, like meeting in the middle, having some sort of compromise. Say, look, you know, I love you guys, but doing it where you're not constantly in conflict. And it's going to take communication, giving and receiving. I'm getting that some of you may be younger, and you don't have to be, but yeah, sometimes it takes a while to break away and, you know, do your own thing. That would certainly require assistance, but also the balance of being able to live your own life, do your own thing, do what's fair, do what's honorable, honor your family while still honoring your truth. There's a middle ground here. So, let's get some, let me see. I'm going to get, because I feel like many of you are just needing some guidance on, you know, being true to yourself right now. There's definitely something here. Some of you are just confused. You've had too many things put in your head from your past about who you are, who you're meant to be, you know, who you're supposed to honor, respect, and be loyal to. That's what I'm getting for those of you who are going to resonate with this reading. And this is about closing that cycle by finding a middle ground. So what do we have here? Empower yourself. Tune into your personal power. You are more than able to handle the situation facing you. Yeah, you gotta stand up to something. You're powerful. You need to stand your ground. Standing your ground actually may create some balance. It's like, back off. It's time for you to let me do my own thing. Allow yourself to be the strong, beautiful person you're capable of being. I love that. You are capable on your own. You don't need everybody else's input. In fact, that's the first way to sabotage. You know, you can let people have their opinions and be supportive to a point, but you kind of have to have your own ideas about your life at a certain point. And many of you are getting to that. And you're going to be like, yes, that's confirmation. True stability. What you lean on for comfort may be what's keeping you stuck. Yeah, your comfort zone. A crutch can help you heal, but if you never let go, it becomes a cage. Trust in your own abilities. You don't need to continue holding on to what once held you up. You've gained the strength to stand on your own. Yeah, the true stability is being able to stand on your own. You don't need to be codependent forever. Yes, it's good to have that crutch. It's good to have that support. It's good to have that investment. But somebody feels like you owe them something, right? Or maybe there's issues about they feel like you owe them money or that you need to pay them back. So there's that pressure, or you have to at least do it our way, or you're not going to get that I'm getting something of that nature. So that's going to be a big challenge for you to empower yourself and focus on true stability. One more. Or two more. We have magic and motion. You can script the vision, light the candles, and call it in, but destiny doesn't bloom on wishful thinking. Yeah, you got to figure out how to embody your vision, take action towards it. So you can call it in, but destiny does not bloom on wishful thinking. Yeah, many of you, this has always just been wishful thinking. The universe responds to movement. Aligned action is the ritual. Yes, aligned action. Each small step signals your readiness, weaving the invisible into form. You're not waiting for a miracle. You're becoming one moment by moment. I love that. Aligned action. True stability. And not using magical thinking or illusion or fantasy as a crutch. Actually putting something into, taking action towards it. Putting it into motion. Closer than you think. A lot of you are closer than you think. No guru, lover, or achievement will ever hand you the missing piece. Amen to that. This is something that you have to do on your own. Even beyond this reading. It was never missing to begin with. Seeking wisdom is valuable, but don't mistake the map for the destination. Yeah, this is just kind of a way of breaking it down. The answers will always lead back to you. Turn inward to the depths of your soul. The further outside of yourself you search, the more distant the power of your truth becomes. So the more outside of yourself, yeah, that is so important. Don't go too far outside of yourself to find what you want. That never works. And that could be all this family pressure or relationship pressure, or maybe even financial pressure. And it's like, you do have to take action, but don't seek it too much outside of yourself. And these readings are only here to confirm or help you resonate or confirm, things that you are already experiencing. So that way they can, be light stands or guideposts to where you're going. So I will leave you there. Please like, share, subscribe, and I really hope to have you here again. Bye.